Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. Yeah. Hey, everybody, it's the Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show coming at you. Previously recorded from the Buxty Hootie Studios. And today is another special episode. I have a guest here. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, Kevin Costner. None of those losers. I got Kurt Krauss.
In a close fourth. I didn't know you could sing. That was very good.
Was that good? Actually,
it was okay.
It was okay. Yeah, I can sing. I can sing. No, thank you very much for having me on the show.
Well, actually, you're having me on the show.
That was embarrassing that I got that wrong. This is like the 38th episode, too.
Hey, nice.
But yeah, anyway, I would like to formally introduce to you my guest, Kurt Krauss. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being on the show. I'm nervous.
No need to be nervous. You're doing great. Stupid.
So, the reason I was excited to have you on the show is we have a little bit of a history together. We both went to college together.
We survived that.
Yeah, at UW Manitowoc. Great times. Fantastic times, actually. I had more fun at UW Manitowoc than I had at... I went to Stevens Point after that.
I remember that.
And I can honestly tell you I had more fun in Manitowoc.
Oh, same. Go Blue Devils.
Yeah.
I say the same. I went to UW Green Bay after that, and it was a great experience, but it was nothing compared to those first years in Manitowoc. It was such a cool, I think, community of students and professors, and there was a closeness there. Like we literally had access to our professors. They knew us all by name.
Yeah.
By senior year, we were taking them out to the bar on Thursday nights. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I kind of remember.
Yeah.
I remember most of it.
Yeah.
No.
Or out in the parking lot. But anyway, the thing I liked about UW Manitowoc, or the center we called it back then, I don't think they call it that anymore, but it was like high school. But just it was better because it was like high school with a college schedule. So you could, you go to class and then I would go home sometimes, watch Little House on the Prairie, and then
3 p.m. every day.
But I don't know. I really liked it. So anyway, we got to know each other a little bit. Probably, I knew of you before you knew of me, I'm guessing, because you were kind of the main man on campus.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say. I wouldn't say that.
But I don't know. I think you were. You had that old Dodge Caravan, and then you had the CDs hanging in your mirror. You were a hip dude.
It was the old 45s, yeah, and we put the tie-dye on the seats.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, if you're driving a 1987 Dodge Caravan with wood sides and it's sandy colored, it's like, why not deck it out?
Yeah.
I took the middle seat out, and so you had lots of room in there for taking up camping and whatnot. I actually camped out in the parking lot there one time when I wasn't able to drive.
Yeah, we all been there. So I don't remember exactly how we became more of acquaintances and friends, but
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, we were in a weather and climate class together.
And she reminded me of that girl from the Golden Girls, Blanche. Yeah.
It's all coming back now, right?
Yeah. Weather and climate.
Yeah,
remember Josh Voss?
Yep.
Remember, was he in there too, I think?
Josh.
Or Pickard. Matt Pickard.
I think it was Matt Pickard, yeah.
He was in there too. Yeah, Blanche.
So I think when I knew we were going to be friends, because you guys were literally a row behind me.
Okay, yeah.
And we had just gotten yelled at for talking, joking, whatever. And so she had the whole room just dead silent. And I hear you and Pickard going back and forth. You could we could barely hear it, but we knew you guys were doing it. And what we hear is, I go to parties sometimes until 4, and then you chime in, boom, 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 boom. It's hard to leave when I can't find the door. And I'm like, okay, I got to be friends with these guys.
Joel Walsh. The name, the Ordinary Average Guy podcast show, is loosely based on one of his songs, Ordinary Average Guy. He has a song.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that comes full circle.
I'm a big Joel Walsh guy. Man, that's bringing back some phenomenal memories. of Blanche. And she had some crazy... But the thing about that class was funny is that it was weather and climate, and I knew I wasn't going to be a weatherman, obviously, but on the way home, I'm looking at the clouds, like, oh, that's a coniferous cloud. And so she definitely... Yeah, so she definitely did her... She was good. But she had some crazy rule, like if you got a sunburn, you automatically... Remember that? If you had a sunburn, you like automatically flunked her class.
Well, I probably gave her lots of good reasons to fail that class, but sunburn was probably leading the way.
I don't know. She had... So perfect. So that's exactly how that happened. And then, because then one thing led to another, we, for those of you listening, the tens and tens of you listening at home, UW Manitowoc's it's like an associate degree school, 2 years, usually 2-3 years.
3 if you're me.
And then you get out of there and go off to school. So then you went to Green Bay, I went to Stevens Point, and I don't know then I was doing some like short little like short little movies. I don't remember that. Ever seen those on YouTube? Maybe.
I think I knew of them because you were talking to me about them about the time that we were starting to.
Because when did you get into acting? Because you were in plays and stuff, I want to say, but did you go to Green Bay for film or something like that?
So I was actually pursuing communications degree, and my emphasis is public relations. But what was cool with the communications program they had there is that you were also cross-trained in journalism, marketing, public relations, and what they call digital media.
Okay.
And so while I wasn't a part of a film program there, I was learning these different components. And then there were other students who were a part of the communications program who were trying to do short films and whatnot. So we kind of crossed paths, but I hadn't really done anything with the UW students. Flash forward, out of the blue, Universal Studios shoots Public Enemies in Wisconsin,
starring Johnny Depp. Yeah.
And so my introduction to film was being cast in a independent film called A Godfather of Green Bay. It was Pete Schwaba.
Okay.
And he did stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay.
For quite a while. And so he brought in his friends, so like Tom Lennon from Reno 911, Lieutenant Dangle.
Sure.
He's in the movie.
Okay.
It was a really great lineup. Lauren Holly, who was from Dumb and Dumber, the redhead.
She was, okay. She's in that movie.
Yeah, so he really brought together a really cool team. Tony Goldwyn, who was the villain in Ghost, and the president from Scandal.
So the Godfather of Green Bay, is this so you got cast in that movie, or?
I was 18 at the time, so I was this barfly that's just hanging out, no speaking lines or anything.
Okay.
But that was my introduction to film, and then the very next film that I got cast to work in was then Public Enemies. So it was just amazing that your first 2 opportunities were movies that went to DVD, things that had recognition. And so I've always felt very blessed and watched over that I just had these opportunities come my way.
Sure.
And I was available at the time to answer that call.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then you do Public Enemies, because then now and maybe if I wasn't clear here, Kurt is you're an actor and model, right?
Yep.
And that's what you do for a living. That is your day job.
That is the 80-hour weeks or whatever it takes to get it done.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. So, and that's awesome, because there was a time in my life when I wanted to go down that avenue. I was doing comedy and thought about, I was doing the short films. But that wasn't my role, but you went for it. You did it. And that's pretty awesome. And I think what's really cool, where are you living right now? Where is your home base?
So on days off, when it's not crazy, it's back up in Door County.
Okay, you're from Door County, Sturgeon Bay. Okay. But otherwise, you're traveling all over the place.
Yeah, mostly Midwest, but a couple times a year I end up in different cities around the country. I was out in New York for a film that was like September time.
Okay.
Just recently down in Tampa Bay. So I also do video production side. And so when I was in Tampa Bay, I was actually at this gigantic RV convention doing these video walkthrough tours with some local models that were hired there.
Oh, okay.
It's more or less doing a virtual walkthrough as any of us would do if we went to an RV show.
Sure. So what's really crazy about all this is that you're doing this, and you're out of Northeast Wisconsin. You didn't have to go to L.A. or New York. Which I think is pretty interesting that you can make a career out of it and not even leave good old Wisconsin.
I've wanted to leave. Years ago, I did. I thought, okay, it's time to go to Atlanta. It's time to go to L.A. A couple things that play in our favor here is that we are so close to Chicago that you can still have a comfortable life and then book gigs down in Chicago.
Okay.
In Milwaukee and Madison have a lot going on. Another thing that's played into it is with Green Bay being, having the Packers and being a, national spotlight, having sponsors coming in and shooting things. There's opportunity in the commercial realm in Green Bay and surrounding areas.
Sure. Awesome. So do you have an agent then?
I do. I have an amazing talent agent who is based in Green Bay and books a lot of those commercial gigs and occasionally film opportunity, but mostly we do the commercial TV ads and then commercial print. And then I have another talent agent in Minneapolis and another one down in Chicago.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. And what are they're just kind of doing the same thing, but what would you say is your main bread and butter right now?
It's a mix. Right now, I'm probably doing more on the production side, whether it's producing or getting hired out on production crews. Actually, tomorrow I will be working for ESPN.
Really?
Yep, on a production team, and we'll be with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be down in Milwaukee then?
Yep.
They're in Milwaukee tomorrow.
So again, to have in Wisconsin to have the Bucks, the Brewers, the Packers, there is opportunity when you're working on crew or again on the talent side too. There is opportunity to be working. The goal was build up a great reel, build up a great portfolio before you move to the bigger market. Sure. Because it's so competitive. And that was always my advice to younger actors. No, granted, none of them listened to me. And they just said, no, I've got the acting bug and now I'm going to pursue my dream out in LA.
Yeah.
And a number of them, if not all of them, who went out and did that, they've gotten some things, but they're more or less working at Starbucks, which it's not a bad thing.
Nothing wrong with it, but that's not why they went there.
Everyone ought to be hustling, and so that was always my argument. It's like, why not build up your reel before you go, so that when you have the 5 seconds with a casting director, show them what you're capable of. So anyway, that was my mentality, and it has very much played in my favor.
Yeah.
But again, I wish the best to everyone who goes out and does it, because it's a leap, it's a jump, it's a plunge. Yeah.
Well, I had the bug, or the comedy bug, I guess. And I even had a bank account set aside called my LA account, where I put money into it and because unlike me, you hear the stories about people going out there like with $15 in their pocket. I at least I want to have some money. So but I never went, but I had that bug. But when comedy, what was incredible is you could just do it around here as well. And we could travel, I went to Michigan and we would go to, Illinois, I've done some shows, so we could travel and do all that stuff still here. We don't have to go to the big city. Now, if you ever wanted to become the next Jerry Seinfeld or something, well then, yeah, you probably would have to do that. But, yeah, I agree 100%. You can do all that stuff here and get your, in the comedy world, you would get your 20 minutes put together or your hour or whatever, but your 20 minutes for sure. So that's pretty. So do you have any? So one other. Let's do it back. Let's back up here a little bit. So we know each other. Then all of a sudden you get this acting bug. You're in 2 movies, and now you decide to write your own movie.
That's correct.
Talk about getting a bug.
Nice. Give that drummer an extra $1.
Yeah. So you write your own movie, and when it's all said and done, you make this movie, and I am in the movie.
That's correct.
I'm Tony.
You are Tony.
Yeah. I drunk. We watched the movie last night, my wife and I, And she said, so you're basically just playing yourself. Because I told her, I said, do you know who I'm thinking of when I'm doing this character? And she's just like, yourself. I was like, oh, okay.
It's kind of you, charming.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched the movie and I actually thought like, holy shit, like I thought I was pretty good at it.
So if,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Want the honest feedback that came from even when I was screening earlier cuts of the movie, trying to get a sense of Ken Film Festival's program, because the original cut of this movie was 3 hours long.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of Kevin Costner?
Well, I guess I got a little carried away, but because of the two storylines, we were actually diving in more to 1958, and then also the back and forth between Michael and Michelle. There was more to that, showing that yes, they're in love, but they're also having problems.
Yeah,
and long story short, if you're not Martin Scorsese, they're not going to program a 3-hour movie.
Right.
And a part of the many delays that came with the project were then that we had to take this 3 hours, really go to the bare bones, the skeleton, to say, what do you need start to finish to make story? And now you fill it in to give it character and depth and everything else.
Sure.
But yeah, so I kind of deviated from the original question. People... The feedback was they really liked your character. They liked what you did with it.
Yeah.
I thought it, I personally thought it had elements of almost like a John Candy.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No. And it
because of the size of my body.
No, no, because you're being funny, but there's a warmth to it.
Yeah.
But then we also pull back layers, and there's also, there's hurt to it. And a lot of John Candy's movies, whether it's Uncle Buck or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he's those same things. He's
great outdoors.
Great outdoors. There's funny, there's warmth, but then you pull back a layer, and there's also, there's some history, there's a hurt, and so anyway, I thought a lot of people thought you did that character very well.
Spaceballs.
Not so much. Not so much.
But in all honesty, it's funny when you think of like,
he was a Mog, right? It was half man, half dog.
Yeah.
I'm my own best friend.
But John Candy is, again, it's just another one of those shames. I think he was like in his 40s when he passed away, which is just it's incredibly unfortunate because I love watching his movies. Like The Great Outdoors is my favorite movie. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is high up there. Well, John Candy, and then if you throw John Hughes in there as well, like it was just. Even like his little part in Home Alone. I love the part in Home Alone. He's like, we forgot our daughter at the funeral parlor. And, she started talking again or something like, I forget the exact words, but it was just, he was so funny. So that's actually a really cool compliment that, I don't know. I liked it. So the movie is called Confessions of a Sailor at the Red House Inn, which I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe the title could have been something different. That does sound kind of like a different type of movie.
There were so many times in pre-production and then while we were shooting it where it was questioned the type of movie this was. Is it really a family-friendly movie or is this some sort of adult film?
Yeah, because but it is a. We watched it last night, and my son is so into shipwrecks.
Nice.
He loves the Edmund Fitzgerald. Matter of fact, his favorite song is "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald" by Gordon Lightfoot.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So when we were watching, I said, "Buddy, this is about shipwrecks," and he's all into it. So he was watching it, and then it was mentioned. The Edmund Fitzgerald was mentioned before they talked about the Carl D. Bradley. And he was all like, I said Edmund Fitzgerald. So yeah, he thought it was pretty cool too. But it's about basically this. Well, you want to just tell the spiel? Man, I don't need to take the limelight here. You want to tell the spiel about what the movie is, or do you kind of want to keep it? Is it coming out sometime soon where people can get their hands on it?
Yeah, so we just finished a film festival run. So film festivals are all around the world, and you have audiences, whether in the theaters in those particular cities or if there's streaming options available. You have access to watch all of these films over the course of a weekend, a week, whatever. The idea there is to get feedback, get people like, oh, I really liked that film. I want to see it. It's really getting exposure to the project before you put it on DVD or streaming services. The goal is to have it available on DVD and streaming by Father's Day of 2025. So this year. So this June.
Okay, and if it's streaming, would it be streaming on? You just got to work like a deal out with somebody, or? So
a lot of filmmakers are looking at like the route of Tubi. If you're familiar with Tubi,
yeah, I know Tubi.
Tubi.
Yeah.
So that that's one.
Now, would they pay you money then to have it on there, or do you got to pay them money?
I think if it's like Amazon gets a good portion, but then the filmmaker gets. I feel like we've been getting some kickbacks from the film we did after that called From the Furnace.
Okay, well, so you now you got 2 films in the can.
Yeah.
That you were the main guy.
So two I've produced, and I also wrote and directed Confessions, but I actually came on as producer for From the Furnace, which we shot actually here in the Fox Valley.
Why didn't you give me a call?
I don't think you were in the Valley at the time.
I was in the Valley.
We shot that in 2016.
Yeah, I was in the Valley, dude.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Well, my bad. Maybe I didn't ask you because we hadn't finished Confessions at that point, and I didn't want to ask too many favors.
No, that's all right. So the From the Furnace was something that you jumped on. So are you in the movie, or are you behind the or you're a producer? You said. So
I was originally cast in the movie, and I was working with the filmmaker because this was his first feature.
Okay.
And after going through all the ups and downs and Confessions, my heart kind of softened, and I said, I can help you put together your first film, and you can have me either as the actor or you can have me as the producer, but you can't have me as both.
Okay.
Because I can't do both well. And that was also one of the things I struggled with Confessions, was that with those different hats, you're never really fully present where you need to be.
Yeah, because you're in the movie also there.
Yeah, and I was, those days that we were shooting Confessions, as you probably recall, it was like we really burned the candle at both ends. And even when
a lot of coffee, I remember you guys drinking a lot of coffee.
So much coffee,
and I kept on
and cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes.
Yeah, man, it was like.
You still smoke?
I do cigars, but I'll do what's called production cigs.
What's that?
So it's like if you're on production and it's going to be late, it's like if you take a smoke break, you smoke a cigarette or two.
Okay.
But then when production is done, or if it's a shorter production day, you just know it's like I'm not going to be a regular smoker.
Oh,
but
I couldn't do that. I don't. If I'm gonna smoke, if I'm gonna go down that alley, I'm going all in.
Well, you were always one for a commitment, and a man of your word. So
you're right. You're right.
Your loyalty to Marlboro is very much appreciated.
That's why I never. I mean, there back in the day, you would bum a smoke once in a while, but usually there was heavily drinking involved.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, if I get into that, I would never be able to quit ever. And my old man is so against smoking. There's a Chris Rock bit where Chris Rock's like, I was going to do a Chris Rock voice, but I don't know if I should do that. He's like, you know why I don't smoke? He's like, I ain't afraid of cancer or any of that. I'm afraid to smoke because I think my dad's going to come through that wall and kick my ass. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. My dad is so against smoking that it's like, I feel so.
He sounds like a very good dad.
Yeah, he's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Not a bad one. But I zin, man. I'm a zinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm a zinner. And I'm trying to get off of it too, not because I think it's bad for you, but they're getting expensive. Do you zin?
I don't zin. I occasionally sin, but I don't zin.
No, zin ain't no sin.
No.
That's what they say. The kids these days. But I had a New Year's resolution to get off the zins And that's my hardest one so far because I keep falling back into temptation.
Yeah.
But no, I stay away from the cigs. But I like cigars, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we definitely got it when the weather gets warmer. We definitely got to.
Are you in the valley often?
I get back here. I don't get back here as often as I'd like, but I do get back this way. So, in fact, one of the producers I'm pulling in, actually two of the producers I'm pulling in on this next film, Amphibious, which we're going to.
Amphibious. Now, what's this about?
Well,
that's not. So you are a busy man.
I am.
Let's be honest here. You are working.
This I shared with you earlier before the broadcast here that this month and a half into 2025 has felt like 4 or 5 months just rolled into it. And it's not a bad thing to be busy if you can handle it, manage it, responsibly deliver on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful to say that I'm doing that, but I do feel the toll sometimes of so many different irons in the fire.
Yeah.
Just in this past year, and I'll give you the real quick on Amphibious. We are working with an organization called Film Green Bay Inc. that exists to bring filmmaking into Green Bay and the surrounding area.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they exist as a 501c3 nonprofit specifically for this. So I'm doing a very different avenue of getting the funds to launch this next film. And the approach is going to corporations and asking for a corporate donation through this nonprofit to fund this film.
So is the move? So let me just be devil's advocate here. Why would a corporation donate money for? Is the movie? Is there a storyline behind it or something that's like a good cause or like what? Like what's your? Pretend I'm a big corporate bigwig, fat cat.
Yeah.
How Kurt? Why do I got to give you money, Kurt? Huh? Why do I got to give you money for your little silly film? Tell me, please.
Uncle Vito, why are you putting me on the spot? We talked about this. No, the film is a heartwarming story, and the goal of the script is to really combat teen suicide and self-harm.
Oh, perfect.
And it's doing it in a way, and there's other projects that have done in addressing that well, like 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
But that goes very dark, and it's a dark topic.
Subject matter.
The reverse of it is, could you create a project that would help young people recognize who they are to each other and the people who love them, and recognize who they are to the world, who they are to themselves. So we often see ourselves in a jaded light, myself included. We don't often see how much love and life we give to those around us. So this script does that. And the quick of it is, your lead character is Edgar, and he's born with syndactyly. So he's got webbed toes and webbed hands.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and this is an actual condition.
My dad has webbed feet.
Really?
He's really good at swimming too.
Well, that's awesome.
Like, I'm legit being serious here. Kind of joking, but he's also serious. He's a good swimmer.
That's amazing, and that really preludes what happens then in this script. So Edgar hides this condition. He's a transfer student. He wears these long sleeves and hoodie. He's just known as this new kid named Sleeves.
Okay.
Well, it's revealed that he has the condition. And as at any school, this might happen where he starts getting bullied and targeted. But you also have a response of a lot of caring people at this school.
Okay.
And one of them is, of course, the swim coach, who says,
"Oh, really? Cool."
And he says, you see this condition as a curse, but you realize how many swimmers wish, because again, if you've got webbed hands and webbed feet, and you learn the disciplines of swimming, you're going to be the envy of every other swimmer.
Yeah. No, that's
so he
legit.
He becomes very quickly this person that everybody, not just in the school, but in the community surrounding areas, is just like, have you seen this kid? You have podcasters talking about him. You have radio shows saying, like, this is amazing. Have you seen this video? It's going viral. So he becomes this pseudo celebrity. Well, as all this is happening, he's regularly meeting with a counselor, and he was also put in a special ed program. And those even before he became famous, those special ed kids were his first friends. And they just loved him unconditionally as he was, even before knowing like there was this other side to him, or that there was going to be this other side to him. So he never forgets those first friends and how people loved him, as he was this very isolated kid. So anyway, as it turns, he's using the pseudo celebrity status and being everyone's favorite person to lift up those around him.
Perfect.
And some people might say, "Oh, this is a tad whimsical. Like this would never happen." But it's really like this is really the world we all want to live in.
Yeah.
And what I hope the viewer, especially the younger viewer, but really everyone who sees it, it's meant to say these things you see as whether it be physical or emotional, mental setbacks, disfigurements, these things that make you uniquely you are a part of you, and you're a wonderful creation.
Yeah.
And so don't be ashamed of those things, but rather discover who you are and then use that as a gift to others. And it's really supposed to be like, okay, beyond just another sports movie, really something about, who you are and what you can be and who you are to others,
I noticed a theme here with you. So, okay, first, are you in front of the camera at all on this movie?
I hope not. I'm hoping I can.
Oh, I didn't start filming yet?
No. So people have asked, will you be in it, or even in a cameo? So maybe if there's a simple cameo, I would do it, but I really have to stay on the producing side of this.
Do you like being on the do you find it more fun to be on the producing side of it and getting things going?
It really depends on the project.
Okay.
So if I can disconnect from the creative side and just be solely producer, I'm great with that. Or if I appoint a different producer and focus solely on the creative, I can do that. I can't go between the two without getting just mentally, emotionally drained and not sleeping. And so, that whole self-awareness of I'm not at my best when I'm doing this, and I need to be at my best. So, different projects, if I fit into something specifically, a quick example was the most recent one I did was the short film adaptation from Stephen King's Last Rung on the Ladder.
Oh.
And we shot that on a contract with Stephen King's organization, and we had a year to shoot that film. It's a short film, but you only have a year to get it done on this contract. And they gave us extensions on the contract, which was good. But I came into this project. I didn't even know it was happening. And the director was a friend of mine, and they were 6 months in to the second year extension, and nothing had been shot yet. And
what were they doing?
There's so much goes in pre-production and your fundraising,
right.
And this particular contract won't let you sell the DVD or go commercial with it. You don't get any kickback on ticket sales, so it's a very specific contract. So it's tougher in some ways to raise money for a film like that because you can't have investors who are getting money back. You can only collect donations to fuel it.
Okay.
The reverse of it, because it's a Stephen King story and everybody loves Stephen King.
I like Dean Koontz, but whatever.
Dean Koontz. Didn't he play for the Packers? No.
George Koontz.
That was George Koontz.
George Koontz.
The old Super Bowl 31 team, George Koontz.
I know. Brett Favre is my hero. Non-family member hero. I got to give my family members the number 1, 2, 3 spot.
Oh, absolutely.
When it comes to not family, Brett Favre. I always said Brett Favre, if we turn on the news and he's driving down in a white Bronco, it doesn't matter. I still love him. He can do whatever he wants.
We're on your side, Brett. Keep driving.
Keep driving.
Don't pull over.
Get rid of those. Yeah. Get rid of those Smokies.
So that Super Bowl 31 team to this day, and I think it's because you and I were probably, 12, 13,
right,
11, whatever. But it was what a time to be a young person in Wisconsin when your heroes go to the Super Bowl and win. And they were that particular team was such a classy bunch.
I know.
You know, they weren't getting headlines for massive scandals or, you know, nobody.
Not like the Cowboys. Remember the Cowboys back then?
Yeah, you say that now, and I get all those feelings from like 30 years ago of just like, oh, the Cowboys.
You know, it's funny though. Is like when we went to the Super Bowl with Rodgers, you know, against the Steelers. Like I feel terrible saying this, but I sometimes forget it. Like when I think of the Packers going to the Super Bowl, I think 31 New Orleans.
Same.
Like
I was as happy as anyone and really enjoyed. I was just coming off being super sick and like getting up and watching the Super Bowl, just being able to prop myself up into a chair and see us win was, and it was not a good season. You know,
well, you know what was so great about, you know what I remember most about that season is us getting into the playoffs and then just kicking the crap out of every team in the playoffs, because we were the 6th seed. That's back when there was only 6 seeds in the playoffs, I think. Now they have 7.
Because that was like the Mike McCarthy era, so that would have been like 2011.
Yeah, or like 2010, 2011 season, I think. So they went in, I remember they beaten up on the Atlanta Falcons, because that's when I liked Nick Collins on that team. Nick Collins, remember him?
Yep.
He was cool. And he had that, I think it was a fumble. Anyway, we got to get back on track here. We're talking acting, not sports. We're not a bunch of jocks. We're actors.
Actors.
So when you get involved in these films, not necessarily the commercial stuff, but these films that seems like you're a part of one after the other, is the agent hooking you up with that? Or I heard you mention like the director was a friend of mine. Is he getting you in on that?
Typically when I'm working on a film production, there's somebody else who's involved in the project that just says, hey, you know, we're looking for this role. I think you'd be good at it.
Okay.
So I've worked as a producer. I've worked as an art director, where everything you're seeing on screen, scene to scene, there's an art director, there's a set dresser, everything to make that scene look and feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And so it can become its own, you know, its own niche or area of expertise.
Okay.
And so, you know, I've been hired on projects for that as well. And it's really just what's the need of the production and asking, like, do I have the availability and can I put the time into it to do it really well?
Okay. And it seems like all the movies you're doing, even Confessions of a Sailor at the Red House Inn, like that had, you know, I don't want to give the movie away or anything, but, you know, there was some funny parts in it, obviously, but it was not a funny movie. It was I don't know if drama is the right word, or this amphibious that you're talking about. You know, there's what's the word? Subject matter, serious subject matter. Mm-hmm. From the Furnace, what's that one about?
That one's done as a kind of a cop thriller drama.
Oh.
And
so is that just straight entertainment, or is there a theme behind that one too?
There's heavy subject matter in it as well.
So is that important to you? Like, would you, if I called you up and said, let's do a comedy, let's just do a comedy, would you be into it, or do you want there to be a lesson learned?
I would do it going back to John Hughes. I would do it like a John Hughes comedy. Yeah,
I would love to do that,
because I'd love it. I'd love it to be funny, but also I'd love it to say something that is going to better in some way the viewer. You know,
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You shed a tear at the end of that movie. I guarantee it.
I mean, if I hear that music even cue up, it's just like, oh man.
When he goes back to the train station, there's John Candy sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now. That could be because it's freezing down here. You got a jacket.
Well, it is February.
That's true. This is the Buxty Hootie Studio. That's what I call it.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know what you need down here? You need a little beer pong table and some classic rock posters.
Yeah. That's a good point. I try not to bring my female guests down here because it's got like a rapey vibe to it, but I was like, I could bring you down here.
Never one to mince words. It's a nice studio, and you're early on. You're still building it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna see what the podcast turns into. I have a goal of being like the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin.
Nice.
I was thinking, because I don't think there's many. So, I don't know, maybe there is. But I was like, it'd be cool. Like if like a year from now, let's say, like maybe not everyone listens to it, but they know it. You know, like Charlie Barron's.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the deal. I'm not chasing Charlie Barron's. All right. I was doing that stuff long before he was.
I remember.
Yes.
You were the Manitowoc Minute.
I was the Manitowoc Minute. Yeah, that's what pissed me off about that whole thing, because I was like, this ain't ever going to turn into anything. I was doing the YouTube shorts, which, by the way, I wouldn't pay you anything. But would you ever do one of my YouTube shorts if I start doing them again? Because I have some good ideas.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to pay me cash. We can.
I'm not going to pay you anything.
We can divvy it up over a few beers and cigars.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
Call it a day.
Yeah. Because I want to do these short films, but I don't have anyone to like actually, because I don't want to. You see on Facebook or whatever where it's like they do the like this, and it's some of it's kind of funny, but it's like one guy and then he plays like all these different characters. Like,
yeah, it's pretty obnoxious, I think.
I agree.
Yeah,
100%. And I also like I don't know. I think maybe I'm just jealous of Charlie Barron's. Probably just jealous of him, but. Because I was first, and then I gave it up, and then he blew up, and I think he's worth like a lot of money. I heard
he's got his own brand of brandy now.
Yeah,
I saw that in the store the other day and almost got it. So I am a big Charlie Barron's fan.
Are you?
I am.
Okay.
Don't
cool.
hold it against me.
No,
I'm
gonna have brandy too. It's gonna be called Ordinary Average Brandy.
You ought. I will buy that. I will buy that by the case, along with a whole lot of cherries and bitters.
Hey, how good is that brandy?
It's all right.
It's ordinary average.
Is it top shelf? Nope. Two down. You can't miss it.
But I have some ideas for doing some. I don't even know what I would call those. They're not short films. They're 12, 13 minutes long or something. But I have some ideas for. So yeah, maybe next time you're in the valley, if you got some downtime, we can do something.
And this is just speaking out loud. When you do those short films, especially if you put some time and some production value into them, there are entire categories of short film comedy in these film festivals that you start to get a following, and people are like, oh yeah, that's so and so. He does.
Oh really?
Yeah. So besides a YouTube and online audience, you really can build traction in local circuits of film festivals. And what's great with short film is that they're very programmable. So if you do 10 minutes or less, you're looking good. If you get them done, really tight, 6 minutes or less, festivals love you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, what's the thing with short films though? Like, okay, you go to these film festivals, fantastic. But what do you like? I've never even seen a short film like on Netflix or something, like, where are these short films watched after the festivals?
After the festivals, a lot of them do get put up on YouTube.
Okay.
Or whatever other service that but what helps, especially somebody who's let's say growing a podcast audience, Charlie Barron's, besides doing stand-up, was doing these short videos which had a character, had a theme. People loved it. Mm-hmm. Everything is about building an audience now, especially as things are. Even myself, it's like I don't want to have an Instagram. Yeah. I have no use for Instagram.
Right.
I have an Instagram account because so many people now are like, well, what's your Instagram?
Yeah, what's your handle?
Yeah. And really what used to be business cards, everybody had their business card. You'd say, oh yeah, met you. Here's my business card. Give me a call. You go to movie sets. You go to live events. Everybody wants your handle, but nobody has business cards anymore. So for a lot of younger entertainers, your Instagram is your business card.
That's crazy.
It is. And I'll say, well, I do a lot more with Facebook. How about you? And they're like, Facebook, what are you, my dad?
Yeah. Yeah. Kids aren't on Facebook.
No. And so these younger entertainers, it's like, yeah, they love Instagram, which I don't understand it, because Instagram is not what Instagram was. What it is now. It's like, it's.
I never was on Instagram, and then I got on it recently because I was in the woodworking and I was watching all these woodworking videos, and they'd have their little 10-second shorts, and then I was like, I gotta get off of this. And I never got on TikTok ever.
Yeah. Well,
I never did it.
This is why we can continue to be friends. As soon as you become a TikToker, then I'm gonna be like, Justin, what's going on?
Yeah.
Life okay? You want to talk about it?
No, I was like, I'm not getting on TikTok, and Facebook, but I try to stay off of it. But it's tough because I want to do this podcast and have kind of a thing going here, but at the same time, I don't want to be on social media. Well, I don't have nothing against social media. It's just that I got a wife and 3 kids, and
congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
It is. I mean, I give mad props. It's a special thing to journey together.
Is there a girl in your life?
There is not.
No,
there's not. And again, the grass is always greener on the other side, and there is a part of me that has those moments where it's just like it's amazing to have so many prayers answered and be doing what I'm doing and doing what I love in the industry. But the trade-off is you don't have as much time as you would like with family.
Yeah.
And every year I make it a New Year's resolution to be a better friend and to reach out more and just connect and grab coffee or whatever. And it's like every December going into the next year, I'm making that resolution again, realizing how many times I've dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Just, because you are away,
Yeah. Well, at least you're doing what you love. Not many people can say that, Not many people can say that. I'd say the majority of the people can't say that. But what are you going to do? So, one other thing I was going to ask you is, speaking of... Actually, a couple things I was going to ask you. Speaking of film festivals, you want to promote one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the big Mamu this week.
This week?
This week. So February 13th through the 15th is the Door County Film Festival, and that's being held at the Northern Sky Gold Theater in Fish Creek, Wisconsin. If you've never been there, have you been there?
To that theater?
Yeah.
No.
So,
but I've been to Fish Creek.
Oh, you've got to.
Yeah.
At least once you got to go to Fish Creek.
Definitely.
Up there, depending on who you talk to, it could also be Fish Crick. It's like the EE makes an I sound.
You remember Manitowoc Bad Days, Francis Crick?
Yeah, Francis Crick.
That's how you would say it, Francis Crick.
Yeah.
You never would say Francis Creek.
Yeah. Actually, I had a buddy who was up visiting from Slinger, Wisconsin.
Slinger, yeah.
And he went up there asking directions. This was really pre-Google everything. And he's like, how much further to Fish Creek? And the guy looks at him and he's just kind of glazed over or whatever. And he's like, is it far? And he's like, Fish Creek. Oh, you mean Fish Creek? Well, here, and he goes on. It's like, wow, that's about as it's about as local northern door as you could ask.
Hey.
But yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say, real quick, the film festival, it's in its 16th year.
Okay.
It a number of years back used to be held in the Sister Bay Village Hall. This festival got to be so popular that last one that was held at the Village Hall was standing room only, and this was right before the pandemic and the shutdown.
Okay.
And they said, we need a bigger venue. And then Northern Sky was gracious enough right after the pandemic to say, have the festival here. This festival is the first non-theater event that they've held at the Gold. So It's a gorgeous theater. It's the indoor theater for Northern Sky. They also have an outdoor venue in the summertime, like all these different theater troupes have. It's the gorgeous Door County, summer evenings is just a perfect way to do the theater. But we only have that so many months out of the year, and so to have a top-notch venue like this is just an incredible gift.
Do you have a movie that will be Confessions? Are you showing that?
Well, Confessions actually premiered at the Door County Film Festival in 2023.
Oh, okay.
Before it went on its film festival tour. That was the kickoff of the film festival tour.
Cool.
I will be in a film it's a documentary short called Are We Listening? And then I'm going to be more in that documentary about a year from now when it's done as a full-length feature. They're kind of giving people just a sample of it as a short film. It's a documentary, so I'm interviewed in it, and there's also some video of me at a live event where I was talking on a panel of producers and filmmakers. So other than that, I am the content creator now for the festival. So I work very closely with Chris Opper, the festival director, who founded the festival. Amazing guy. And we're working together just in growing the festival. So Thursday night is, for the first time ever, it's now a 3-day festival.
Okay.
And Thursday night, we are screening a film that was shot in Wisconsin. The director is actually living in LA now, but he grew up in Wisconsin, and he went out and pursued a career out there. Very, very talented filmmaker. That movie's called February. And right after that film was done, we do a segment of all student films. And a lot of these students are from UW Oshkosh and the Fox Valley.
Okay.
But it was like, what better way to kick off the festival weekend than to bring together students and then a former Wisconsin student who's now out there doing that. And again, it's the opportunity for young filmmakers then to network with people who've been in the industry and to learn the craft, to grow in the craft. Friday is going to be a lot of fun. Friday, we have a filmmaker mixer. So from 4 to 6, it's 4 to 6 is cocktail hour. You'll have filmmakers and guests. It's an opportunity to meet and talk and just really ease ourselves into the evening of then films being played.
Cool.
We'll do the short film, Are We Listening?, followed by a feature film that showcases Green Bay, Wisconsin in the 70s and 80s punk rock scene, which I had no idea Green Bay was a punk rock stop-off.
I did not know that either.
And so it's going to be very educational. If you're free.
Is this a documentary again?
Yeah, a documentary.
Okay.
Friday's Valentine's Day, so you probably have plans, but if you don't, you should definitely come up and join us for that.
No, yeah. As a matter of fact, thanks for the reminder.
Hey, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
I'm the one with the wife, and you're the one that knew about Valentine's Day.
It's the little things.
Yeah. So
I also brought some chocolates and a bottle of wine. No.
So then that's Friday night, and then Saturday night.
And then Saturdays from 1 p.m. on is going to be programming of short films and feature films, and a just excellent lineup. Actually, this going back to our conversation about both of us being UW Manitowoc students.
Yeah.
The feature film documentary that closes out the weekend is called Closure, and that's directed by Ken Broski. And he documented the closing of the 2-year campuses under that larger picture of budget cuts to the UW system. I don't know if you're aware, UW Manitowoc is one of the few campuses that's still open in Wisconsin, but it's now UW Green Bay Extension.
Oh, I think Fox Valley's like something the same way, but it's like a UW Oshkosh Extension.
It did, but now they've closed that campus.
Oh, really?
And all around the state, they've slowly closed these campuses. Manitowoc, UW Green Bay Extension Manitowoc is one of the few that survived that.
That's so stupid.
And yeah, I mean, things have changed since you and I first enrolled at UW Manitowoc. But I always remind people, it's like I would not have gotten into a 4-year campus if I didn't have the UW Extension to get those general ed requirements out of the way.
I don't think I would have either.
My GPA was not good enough to get into a 4-year. I got rejected by Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay initially.
Really?
And then I also had a school in Florida that I was getting accepted to, but I was going to pay out the nose.
Yeah.
So then, you've probably heard the whole story of how my friend Alicia and I ended up.
Yeah, you guys just drove.
One day we drove and we took a left for this gigantic billboard that said pizza. Mm-hmm. And we ended up in Manitowoc. We ended up getting a top-notch tour of the campus from Kathy Buckner and just that amazing administrative staff that was working there. And we fell in love with them day one, and it was, the rest is history. So it's a really powerful, informative documentary that it asks a lot of the questions that we as taxpayers in the state would say. This program existed for a reason, and it was contributing very much to the greater good and education of people here in Wisconsin. Yeah. And it was something that was dreamt up as really an answer to a problem. Then if those opportunities are taken away, do we find ourselves back in a situation, or even a worse situation, education wise and career wise, in these skilled trades?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I looking back, and it's college. Whatever. I don't want to get into that now. But I'm not. I don't know where I stand on college. Back in the day, it was like, 2005, 2006, 2004. That's what you did. You went to college.
Yeah.
And I remember because I had a good enough GPA where we didn't have to pay more for car insurance.
But, boy.
Yeah. But it wasn't like
not falling behind.
But I wasn't
not
honored.
Showing off.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. As a humble person. But it was like one of those things where all of a sudden, like, everyone was applying for college and I just didn't. I was just like, I'm not going to college. And my mom at that time was all like, "You're going to college. It's what you gotta do." And I was like, "It's too late. I can't go to college." She's like, "Yeah, man, it's fine." She doesn't sound like that. So I was like, "All right, fine." So then we went to UW Manitowoc, which was a blast. I had a great time. I got into Stevens Point because it was like one of those things where if you graduate, you can go wherever. But the thing is that, looking back on it, what's funny is now I have a brother he's 21. I'm 37. He's 21. So there's a big gap between us. And when he turned 18, my mom literally did a 180 and she's like, "He's not going to college. He's going to get a job in the trades." And like looking back on it, it's like, I kind of wish I would have done this. I don't want to change a thing in my life, but I do think sometimes, like, what if I just would have became an electrician or became a carpenter, something like that. And, we're doesn't matter if there's a recession. Everyone needs electricity, but whatever. Look at me now. I'm in a basement doing a podcast on a white table with Kurt Krauss.
Well, whatever you're doing it well. So keep it up.
Well, this is probably the longest interview I ever had, and we still have some things to go. So hey, real quick, did you know that, not to get political, and I'm not going to get political, but I was interested in that Door County, like, until this year, Door County predicted every single presidential election in, like, the last, like, 50 years. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No. They never tell me anything over there.
Yeah, Door County was on, like, 60 Minutes.
Huh.
Yeah, some lady was up there interviewing all these guys.
We've been on national news before, sometimes for good, sometimes not so good.
What for? I don't know.
Oh, there was a murder up there years ago.
Yeah. Murders.
Some of my murders. They happen every 5-10 years. No, it was sad, and I wasn't living there at the time actually when all that was happening. But some of my production crew that I was working with ended up getting called up there to be ready to go with the cameras when the press conference happened with the sheriff's department. And, so no, but we get national news for good things too.
Yeah.
I think we were named like top 10 seaside towns of America.
Oh, that should be definitely. I was in Vegas one time, and on the menu was at a fancy restaurant in Vegas, and on the menu was Door County cherries.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, if I was a good guest, I would have brought you some.
No, that's all right.
They would have. I would have got you like the cherry bounce.
You know that I'm not gonna. Speaking of gifting things, you know that you're doing this for free, right?
Oh, you didn't mention that.
Okay. So
you call me here.
I don't want one of your 3 agents to call me and. Yeah.
Not this time, but you can bet your bippy next time.
All right. So, emails, ladies and gentlemen, emails and messages. I have a couple now. Again, if you want to send me an email, which I hope you do because it's the best, my email is J-Kenn, OAG @outlook.com, or you can find me on the Facebook at the Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. You will not find me on TikTok. And probably not on Instagram either. I do have a handle for Instagram, but I'm not active on it. So anyway, email or Facebook, just like the good Lord intended. So, first email from our buddy Thomas Knickerbocker. Today is your birthday. Congratulations on your recent trip around the sun. Well, thank you very much, Thomas Knickerbocker. It was my birthday on February 1st.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Yes, I was 37. 37 years old.
Wow.
How old are you?
So
38?
young.
39.
I'm a tad over 37.
Just a tad. You're 37 too?
No, I'm 39.
You're 39?
Yeah.
Wait, how many years did you go to the center?
3. And we would have met.
Oh, you're probably old for your class.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
That's kind of a weird thing to talk about.
They always said you're just just delayed. You'll get there. Keep trying. I have we could have committed a whole episode of this just to UW Manitowoc because there's so many good stories. There's so much. As we're just talking and bouncing back and forth on, it's like, yeah. Anyway, I don't mean to hijack this because it's your birthday. What'd you do for your birthday?
Well, no, it's not my birthday. My birthday was on the 1st.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what today is, the 8th or something.
What'd you do on the 1st?
Super Bowl Sunday. I got drunk.
Nice.
I got drunk. Yeah, my wife and I we took the kids to some family. They watched the kids. We went to lunch or like a late lunch. We're the only ones in there. And I'm kind of doing this no carb thing right now. But so I was like, no bun on my burger. But then I'm like, I got to get a beer. It's my birthday. So I got and I'm not usually a craft beer guy, but I got an IPA beer.
Oh, yes.
It's like, ooh, that tastes good. Ooh, that tastes good, I said. So I had another one. And then we're leaving, and then we went down and we stopped at another brewery, which again, I don't even really care for craft beer that much. But then we went to this Bare Bones Brewery, which is really good.
You say Bare Bones?
I think it's Bare Bones, yeah. And then we had a couple beers there. A guy bought me a beer. So now I didn't have that bread on my burger, right? So all that, I didn't have no carbs to soak it up. So I got kind of a little drunk. And then we went and picked up the kid. Well, my wife drove. We went and picked up the kids, and then my uncle, because they were at my aunt and uncle's. But hey, do you say aunt or do you say aunt?
I think I say aunt. I should say aunt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a thing that we talk about on the show sometimes. Anyway, so he mixed me up a couple cocktails. Yeah, one thing led to another, and I got all drunk. But hey, it's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yeah. So
sometimes you take a trip around the sun. Sometimes you trip the entire way around the sun.
Yeah.
Either way, you get past it.
So we have another email here from Mel. I'm digging the sound effects. Good touch. Thank you very much, Mel. This is a new little contraption I got. This is only like the 3rd time I've used it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I can do all these. Hey.
I was going to ask where you were hiding the studio audience.
We have one more message. Let me just get to it here. Oh, please. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. We have a message from Hen.
Hen?
Hen.
Like Hen?
Yep. That's his name.
Well, very cool.
That's what he signed his email as. Okay, I'm reading this here. So last week, my unordinary opinion was, I feel personally that we are a little too liberal with the flags at half-mast. Is it half-mast or half-mass?
I think it's half-mast because it's like
with a T at the end.
The T, yeah.
And I think we're a little too liberal with it. I think it just seems like every day you're driving down the road and flags are half-mast. And it's like, well, what happened today?
Mm-hmm.
And I am not saying that whatever happened isn't bad. But I remember growing up and like something really bad, like a 9/11 type of thing had to happen for it to be half-mast. And now it just seems like it's half-mast all the time. So that was my unordinary opinion, which I'm going to have one for this week. This is what Hen has to say. He does have a swear word in here, so I'm just going to let you know.
What's the starting letter?
F.
Ooh. How should we be so lucky?
When you're in a funny story. So yesterday, we have this Alexa in our kids' room.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was like, Alexa, play something fun. And the Alexa just like turned on, I guess, I don't know who this lady is, but Sabrina Carpenter. You know who that is? Like, I guess like an up and coming. I don't know.
She's not one of the regular Carpenters. Like, not Karen and Chuck or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so she has this song and apparently the F word is said on it. And my wife's like, Alexa, off,
Alexa, bad.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah.
do?
And my son, he's 6 years old. And he's like, what was the word? What was the word? And my wife's like, I'm not telling you the word. And he's just like, come on, what was the word? And then my wife's like, well, I'll tell you this. It rhymes with duck. And he goes, oh, I know what it is. And she's like, oh, you do? He goes, yeah, it's the S word. And my wife's kind of like, wait, what? No, the S word. And then she's kind of like, say it. So he goes, suck. Isn't that adorable, kind of?
That is so cute. may he always stay that innocent.
Yeah.
We don't say suck. We say stink.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
Stinks.
Stinks. So anyway, this is what Henry has to say. Having the flag at half-mast shows weakness. The United States of America should never have the flag anywhere besides the top of the pole. America, fuck yeah. Hen. I don't know. I'm not going to disagree with them. I think flags should be raising tall and proud. And when something bad happens, we should even raise it higher.
That's something.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll fight through this. Positivity. I don't know. I don't really know much about that, though, so I hope I don't get you canceled. I'm not worried about me getting canceled. You can't get canceled if you're not even a thing. So, now, this week's unordinary opinion. Now, for shits and giggles, do you have an unordinary opinion? Is something that either you really like that most people don't, or that you don't like that a lot of people do. And it doesn't have to be controversial. It could be anything. But is there something that comes to your mind? I'll share mine. If you have one, then I'll share mine if you have one.
Well, I mean, we could go lighthearted and political.
Okay.
Unpopular opinion. It's unpopular with at least half of the country. I was a big Kennedy fan.
Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah,
fan. I like.
And I shouldn't say
him
was.
too.
I am. I really did think that at a time where things are getting more divisive, I really thought him coming in would be a bridge builder.
You mean as the president?
As a presidential candidate, yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been third party a number of years now, and it's not for a moral superiority or I'm right and the rest of you are wrong. But I really, as we get locked into opinions and locked into, this is where the party stands. If you're not with us, you're against us. It's like we're not talking to each other the way we need to be. We're not looking at creative solutions to the problems at hand. We're looking for a party solution that gets just enough votes to do it. So I really thought Kennedy coming in as a presidential candidate was going to be the guy to do that.
Yeah.
So that was my unpopular opinion. People, I did my small part as a wandering artist, and I picked up the bumper sticker and the T-shirt, and I in my prayer it was like, we're about to go into a crazy cycle going into the fall for the November election, so I'm just like, I'm not going to get political this summer. I want everyone to just enjoy the summer. Like, it's gonna get bad, sure, but it's like, at least let us have the summer. And I was at an event, and I'm just like, we're not talking politics. Well, that weekend, Trump gets his ear shot off, and all of a sudden, it's what everybody's talking about, and I'm like, that's it. And I went to my car and I put on my Surfers for Kennedy T-shirt. And I'm like, you want to talk? Let's talk. If we don't start building bridges, we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. We got to build bridges, and
so
I still believe that.
So Kennedy drops out and goes with the Trumpster.
Yep.
Were you kind of like, what the hell, Kennedy? Or are you like, no, he's still my guy, and now at least he's in there doing something?
I think he is a person of integrity, and I think he is in a position to do, I think, what's needed in the country in terms of what's in our water. He, as an environmental lawyer, it was like he was fighting for things long before it was cool. Now, if you were a hippie, an actual hippie of the day, or an activist, it's like he was cool. He was cool for doing those things. What are we putting in the soil? What are we putting in the water? Because of people like him, you had activist movements. You had science and research that ultimately went into cleaning up the Fox River. It's like the Fox River is case in point of when we made clean water, clean soil a priority again. The birds started coming back. The fish, the fish are healthy to eat again. You can actually go and swim at Bay Beach if you want to.
Oh yeah, I never, as a kid, we never went to the beach of Bay Beach. Yeah. It was just the park.
I mean, it used to be, in its origin, it used to be about the beach, even pre-amusement park and all this. It was just a nice, really fun beach to go to in Green Bay, and then we poisoned the water. They did.
I didn't do shit.
So to look, this is not on me, guys. This is not on me. But so I mean, he was cool for so long already doing these things at a time when it really wasn't cool to be doing it. So to now confront, what's in our food, and I've been saying this long before it was cool. We in the grocery stores really need to have a food section and either an other or not food section. But, I can tell you what's food, and I'm pretty particular about what I eat these days just because.
Well, you got to stay lean.
You got to stay, and I got to live off of kale chips and, and salads. No, we're in our 30s now. So it's like you realize, hey, if I'm already, getting joint pain at 30, it's like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
It's like, you're probably not hydrating. You're probably not putting in the good things. But, I would ask the question, this is 10, 15 years ago. It's like, what actually is a Cheeto?
Right. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like we consume these things. What is it?
Especially the hot, fiery ones.
They're so good.
They're delicious.
Wrong,
I know. But it's like, what is it? I actually probably like, I definitely was, like I used to like make fun of the people that you were like, like, eat healthy, and I'd say joke, like not that long ago, I'd be like, I want my burger with a bun with extra gluten, and say shit like that. And then, but
extra onions? No, just the gluten.
Yeah, just gluten.
Just the gluten.
Yeah. I went on a date one time with this girl, and she wasn't even. What the hell is that when you can't do gluten? What is that?
Celiac?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
She wasn't a celiac or whatever. She didn't have it, but she was like trying this thing like, I'm not gonna try to eat bread or whatever. Okay, that's cool. Like I'm not really eating bread, so I just asked for no bun. But she was like the type of girl, and I apologize if people like this they're like really close to, but she was like, Is this gonna be made next to a sandwich or something, or is there like she was asking all these stupid questions, and I'm just like, shut the hell up and just order the fucking food. You don't even have a celiac disease. Who cares?
So I take it that one didn't work out.
No, it didn't. But the moral of the story is that I have changed my thoughts on that, and I am kind of like. Because I am getting older too, and it's like, man, I am, just I stopped eating added sugar. Like I really stopped eating added sugar. I give myself like 20 grams a day, and I have noticed like I'm not.
You can get arrested for 20 grams a day.
Nice. Oh, wrong one.
Oh, you're too kind.
There we go. That was perfect. No, so 20 grams a day I stick to, and I have noticed that like I feel better. I don't know, but anyway, my unordinary opinion is something a little less. You watch wrestling at all?
I used to back in like the Dwayne The Rock Johnson days, and yeah.
So are you 1997? You watching WCW or WWF?
It depends on which friends I was with, because they would literally like tape them on VHS, and because we didn't have cable, so I would have friends tape them on VHS and bring them over to my house.
Oh, sweet!
And then SmackDown started.
That was on UPN.
On UPN on Thursday nights. That was like 8th grade for me.
Yeah.
So I was definitely akin to both. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, right now I will say I'm a wrestling fan, and it's good. It's good. If you're gonna watch it, watch it. It's especially if you're into storylines. It is cinematic what they're doing. I kid you not. It's the real deal.
I believe you.
Anyway, I am sick and tired of everyone pointing at the WrestleMania sign. It's WrestleMania season right now, and everyone's always like, "Oh, that's what it's all about." Yeah, you know, pointing at the sign. That's all they do. Everybody. And it's just getting old. It's like, stop doing it. So anyway, that's my honorary opinion.
Well, I hope you include them in the hashtag for that.
I'll maybe next week I'll try to come up with something a little better about cleaning our water. But
you got to change the world one step at a time, and it starts with that WrestleMania sign. That's it. So, you know what? If we can't fix it on air, we're going to the arena.
Yeah.
We are taking that damn sign down. You've lost your privileges.
Yeah. Get rid of it. So next segment, and this is the Jesus, what are they doing up there? I'm trying to have a show.
we're getting shelled.
Jeez. Song of the week. Every week I do a song. It doesn't have to be a great song. It doesn't have to be a phenomenal song. It's just a song that I like, you know. And I'm like, hey, you should listen to this song. It's a neat song. Do you have a song that you would like to share? You don't have to. I'm sure it is my thing. But if you have a song.
I don't have one right off the top of my head. I was going to joke and say because it is Super Bowl episode.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift being a big Kansas City gal.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she'll be there today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's a back and forth of because there's so many big names coming to this the Super Bowl, but. No, I'm a classic rock guy.
Yeah.
And that's
you have a classic rock vibe going here with the jean jacket.
Oh man,
the longer hair.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how many of these jokes you want on the show or not, but this is happening more and more where I will show up at a place and. Again, I use you've probably seen my sketch van, and it's like, it's not my cool van that was, with the wood sides anymore.
Yeah.
I have just a sketch van that probably.
Right now you do?
Yeah. And,
okay.
I use it for hauling production gear. The Stow and Go is amazing. I got a great deal on it, but chances are your neighbors are calling the police right now because it's parked in your driveway, and they're like, that's not their car. There's something wrong.
Did you take the free candy sign off at least?
I did. Yeah. Okay. Took some scrubbing, but got it, got it clean. But
at least you got that going.
I kid you not. This happens all the time now. I will be parked somewhere if I'm at a gas station and I'm, sitting in my car, I'm putting in directions into my GPS, and people come up to my window looking for, a hit or,
really?
or a sale. And I'm just like, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's like, I'm not selling. And just happened. I was at a truck stop in Florida a couple weeks back, and two guys were standing out there hoping to score some weed. And I was just walking out, and they're like, "Hey, dude," and I'm just like, I know where this is going, and.
Well, maybe you should get a haircut.
I think the haircut would help, but yeah,
you look like one of the Beatles.
With the hair and the jean jacket, I've become quite popular amongst the recreational crowd.
Well, it's nice to have a fan base.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
So the song of the week then is not classic rock, and it's actually kind of a left field one that no one would expect. But since Kurt's from Door County. I remember one time I was vacationing in Door County, and we were we did the bus tour, like the trolley bus tour.
Oh man,
which I'd recommend if you're ever up in Door County. And I was in the bathroom taking a leak, and the song on the radio, I was like, "Whoa, I gotta Shazam this right away" because it was cool. Turned out it was Sarah McLachlan. Remember her? That her.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Is she like, I will remember
That could
you.
be, maybe that's the song, yeah. But this ain't the song. The song that I want you to YouTube on your way home. And if you are listening at home, to check it out, because her vocals are phenomenal. The song is called Possession. Possession by Sarah McLachlan. All right? That's the song of the week. Anyway, that's all I got. For you, Kurt, is there anything else you want to add? Or otherwise, we can put this one in the bag. We're going an hour and 20.
Oh, wow. Look at us.
Yeah.
That's a special edition. Well, thanks for having me on the show. This has been a lot of fun.
Not a problem.
Great to reconnect.
Yeah. And then, like I said, if you ever need an actor, let me know. If you want to be an actor in one of your movies, you have to like be an actor. And what I mean by it is because I have like a full-time job. Like, how would I be able to act in one of your movies if I have a full-time job?
So some of these on the independent circuit will shoot like only weekends, and that does accommodate people who are in full-time commitments on weekdays. Other ones, it's like, oh, this is the schedule, and we shoot for 2 weeks, and it's just back-to-back days, weekdays, weekends. Some people use their 2 weeks that they get
take
off.
their PTO.
Yeah, and then other folks, it's like you only shoot a day. Can you take a day off? And in a supporting role, we may only need you a day.
Yeah.
I think we probably shot with you only 5 or maybe 5 days.
I want to say like 5 or 6 days,
yeah.
right? No, and it was always like in the evening.
Yep.
That I would drive up after work, and then do my scenes.
Nailed them, man. Nailed them.
Yeah. I think I did pretty good actually. So not to be too high on myself, but all right, cool. Well, thanks again for being on the show. And again, if you're up in Door County this weekend, the Door County Film Festival in Fish Creek, and then also Confessions of a Sailor at the Red House Inn. Hopefully will be out streaming on maybe Tubi or something by Father's Day.
Father's Day weekend.
So awesome. And yours truly, J-Kenn, Justin Kennedy, is in that movie in a starring role. I'm number 3 on the credits. I saw it. Number 3. So anyway, thank you very much for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, one last thing. I'm going to do a sign-off thing here. Everybody, I hope you have a windows down, radio up type of week. That's how I'm going to end the show. So, sorry.